And I also have power rankings for you today too.
Oh, you have power rankings today. Oh, wow. Tyler Louder, the power ranking guy, finally has
Okay.
power rankings 8 episodes in or nine
'Cause
episodes in,
we're finally individual. We were being realistic this whole time, I would have just been ranking eras, is what I would have been doing. Like this is
which makes
era.
sense.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
Nine
we
episodes in. And you know what? The whole going independent thing, going individual, I mean, seen it coming, but I don't like it.
I kept saying it. I kept saying that we were going to do this,
Yeah.
and I thought it was going to happen at 20. I thought it was going to happen. You know what I mean? That would have made
Yeah.
the most sense.
But
Um,
also, though, we was able to see having a low amount of numbers help you incredibly in this daily. And we said that, like, man, she only has one person. Is anything going to be so, having one person is going to work out for you? And it sure as hell did.
yeah, but I mean, it also hits that same thing of like there was fear because we saw last week when there was two of them, we saw that all that had to happen was Derek got knocked out and they got last place because they had the
Mhm.
least amount of people standing, which was such a silly rule. It
It was.
sounded it sounded like to me that they wanted to get it down to one person for a storyline. Like that's what it felt like.
I'm pretty sure they didn't think that, like, one of the errors were going to be literally on their last leg.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if I listened to Derek talk with Bananas, and it was just kind of like everybody else came in like peak shape. That's the biggest thing, and it's like Era One wasn't as much. Like everybody was in shape, but they're not at their peak. Like everybody's kind of past
No, they're
their.
all 40 plus. Like,
That's the key, and so it's like when we look at these things, it's like yeah, these other people should dominate. Also, back to the Horacio Derek thing, just because it kept getting brought up. Derek said that he actually missed his final shot like four times, and then he finally got on like the fifth one, and the official clock was that he beat Horacio by like 13 seconds, and
mm,
Horacio's ball got stuck, and they claimed that it was like 7, 8 seconds. So Derek still would have beat him by like 5, 6 seconds either way. Derek was pretty modest about it, okay about it. I think a lot of people kind of were, which was kind of nice to see that even though Horacio's talking about this, people aren't they're not dogging on Horacio, the challengers, like Wes wasn't and everything too. It's more
right.
so of just like don't say anything, but like Horacio is like he comes from a professional sports background where everything is it's A or B. There is there's no like gray area, you know? So
Yeah, and the challenge has a whole lot of gray area, and sometimes the goalposts
too
are
much.
moved. So
Too much. And there's a big thing where it's like Wes said this, he's like, yeah, if people start thinking that the challenge is rigged or there's like conspiracies and everything, it might not be too infectious, but 2% might believe it. And then 2% more might believe it the next time. And it kind of steamrolls. And we'll get into that one day because I do have a question for you on conspiracy theories that you think are the most true and everything. And we can rank those going up because there are things that I think are too good to be true. You know what I mean? Like
like what?
like every elimination Leroy's ever been in is physical. Like he never had a. I mean, All Stars 4 was the one like that was the least physical one he did. Where he was like dangling like a
Yeah,
puppeteer, but he still had to hold that up and do that was physical. I mean, it was still balance, but he's never had a puzzle or like a really big endurance elimination ever. And it's just curious. Like he's at Hall Brawl like 3 times and not by choice like Fessy. Like it's just interesting,
it's interesting, but
conspiracies.
yeah, conspiracy. Let's go ahead and bring this episode in. I like how we switched backgrounds this time too, so that's
Yeah,
funny.
mix it up.
All right, what's really good, Posters? Welcome to another episode of Love, War, Challenges. I am MTV Malik. He is Tyler Louder. What's really good? Gang, 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 gang. Today we are on episode 9, season 40 of the challenge Battle of the Eras. As soon as we kick it off, Rachel and Corey comes in victorious, and Josh is on like, "Hey, where's my hug?" I mean, God, like I've tried to even I think he got I don't think he got a fair shake this episode
I
on a
will
lot
say
of things.
he I will say that he comes across more likable this episode than he has ever.
He's more likable overall. He performs better. Usually he plays better, but I don't think all of all of his team's problems, he's the cause of. Could he have done more? Yeah, probably, but who couldn't have?
Yeah.
So we're at what I believe is the halfway mark. There's 20 players left.
Mhm.
Nothing really happened during the what do you call that? The beginning part.
A block.
A block. Oh, damn. You
That's
know
your
what?
thing. That's your thing.
I know, right?
This
I
was a
know.
very short A block to the point where I literally only think of Josh wanting Corey to hug him. Like
Well,
that's
it
it.
was so short. I was thinking, is this episode only going to be an hour? Was it only an hour?
Nope, it was longer. They
It
just
seemed
went.
like
We were like after the recap of what's happened, and then showing the elimination, and then showing them walking in, and the promo whatever intro, and then we get to Josh and all them stuff. By the time we see it, all of a sudden Rachel's putting on her jersey, it's like 7 minutes, 8 minutes in, which is crazy. To be honest.
You know what? Before we go ahead and dive in, I just want to take a second. Want to give a couple of shout outs. Big shout out to Gamer Vev. Big shout out to Off the Hook Pause. Big shout out to the Unbothered Challenge Facebook podcast. I'm sorry, the podcast and the Facebook group. You guys are awesome. Uh, I wasn't paying attention, and I know we always tell the people who listen to us, hey, we read your comments, we read everything you said, and there's been a couple of comments left on the podcast on Spotify. Just
Oh,
want to jump into it real quick. This one is from Nicole Costa. I love listening and watching you guys every week. The back and forth, the knowledge, the perspective, ... Amazing. Nicole, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for giving us your time. We
I
got
was
another one
I
from
was waiting for it
Yoli.
to be like, however.
Oh, no. It gets good. Yoli says, I think Carver said she had to beat Laurel because if she does it, she knows Laurel voted her in. Good point. Nicole again with showing us love. Love the pod. Totally agree with you guys. Cam is way too extra this season. Carver just trying to protect herself and Laurel and Nicole. Just tells you how long I haven't checked. But Amir, you're back. Does cartwheels. That's great. And Amir also said, just discovered your pod. But there's one all the way back from season 38, episode 19, the final. Let me ask you a question. Who won season 38?
I was Ride or Dies. We had Tori and Devin
Terry and Devin.
to
So
beat Bananas and Nani. Yeah.
I guess I was talking a lot about Jordan because this person says, oh, where is it at? It was just hilarious. Oh, did they delete it? Oh, here it goes. This is from Brittany, and this is from season 38, episode 6. The constant mention of what Jordan did 10 years ago is annoying. If you're not going to mention the problematic past of everyone else, why keep mentioning this? I'm going to tell you why. Because I hate him. And
Well,
because he's good. He's always relevant.
here's the thing though. It's like it'd be different if I was bringing it up and I could see somebody making that comment, but somebody in your position
Hmm.
who has had to deal with situations like that in real life, and then they get showcased and highlighted on TV. I think that is a reason for you to kind of have this poor taste in your mouth on him and wanting to kind of recapture and talk about these things. So I mean,
But and with that said, I also think I've been pretty fair with Jordan. I never discounted his gameplay or how he
no,
played. In fact, I often find myself very conflicted when it comes to Jordan because he plays how I want to see challengers play. He competes the way I want to see people compete. He's very good at this game, and
yeah,
he embodies a lot of the best things of the challengers we want to see. Also some of the worst, which is makes the challenge the challenge. And trust me, I said this before, I don't look to any of these people to be good people. And plus at this point, I'm too deep on the Jordan hate train. I can't get off. I have to stay on.
yeah.
It's too fun.
You know what
But
I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for them when they start branching out, because like we're gonna hit like season 41, and it's gonna be kind of like a transitioning into a new era. It's kind of the whole point of it.
mhm.
And I wonder if we're gonna start dipping into Netflix people, like Netflix reality shows as our next batch of people to bring in, just for the drama aspect. I don't know if they would, but there's like, we got Love is Blind right there. Maybe we'll bring in some people that,
I
stuff
wouldn't
like
be
that,
mad
drama
about that at
wise.
all. But I
I'm
think
waiting
really
for
what I
it.
want to see for after this era, after season 40, and the challenge has been good at evolving for the most part with the audience. I think we're really going to have to see some innovation on how they do things.
Yeah, I think so too.
So very
Yeah.
excited to see what they're going to do. But moving on, 20 players left. We move on to the daily. The daily is called Bottoms Out, and I just find it hilarious how the gays just had a field day with this. When it came to Bottoms Out, they all had their little snickering and shit. I thought it was fucking
Yeah.
hilarious.
It's
And
it's
it's a
just
good way.
interesting.
Go ahead.
What's interesting is that a lot of these things have been kind of it's weird that they try and make a lot of these things kind of sound like it's a battle or anything like that, or it's like we have one that was like Leap of Faith, and then there's like Gladiator, and then we have Battle for Honor, and now we have Bottoms Up. It's a very interesting switch.
It's
So
fucking hilarious. I thought it was funny. So the way this one works is TJ is going to scroll through 27 equations. I'm going to get on that. 27 equations. You got to figure out the equations. How many answers you get correctly is how many footholds you get in the container. It's heights over water. Whoever hangs on the longest, they take the average time for the team, and that's how they get it.
I'll tell you right now, every team needs a strategic mind on their team, and I feel like everybody should, and everybody struggled at this.
I get that math is hard for some people. Most of these equations wasn't that hard.
Not even that. It's their placement of people once they got in the containers. Like that's the problem I have, and we'll get to that and everything. But the math, I don't think some of these math things might. First of all, Laurel like bounced right back to like being a person you don't want to like listen to.
Yeah.
I got
Very
100% on everything,
Very
ever,
quick.
including calculus, and it's just like, oh my god, stop. Nobody cares. Just say, I feel comfortable in math. This is my thing. I don't understand how these people can't add. Just say that. It's the
She's
same
that
thing.
one upper. Just always got to one up.
But nobody
everything.
asked. Nobody asked though. She just comes up to tell her story at a table of people at a bar, and nobody knows who she is. And she's like, "Let me tell you how great I am." There's like, we're just trying to watch the game, but okay, cool, go ahead. Yeah, that's
That's how you do CrossFit.
okay.
So
Okay.
here goes something that really set me off. Why didn't they assign everybody a letter? Hey, the six of us, you're A, you're B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. When it scrolls, that's your equation. You figure it out. You remember it, you figure it out.
Yeah, and you could have even broken it down into split your team in half, and you just rotate three equations, and if you miss one, that's okay. We'll get the next one. Like boom, boom, boom. It's our turn. I'm ready. Like that's
It just seemed like nobody was thinking about it.
and it's simple. I look at the equation. I say the answer. Person repeats it. Third person places it.
So many different ways to do it. Anyway, everyone got 6, which is more than enough for one person. Every 2 got 17, 3 got 14, 4 got 14, or something like that. Everyone is going first, then forward, then third, then second. Now, I remember we were saying, it's like having one person is going to be such a pain in the ass. And it was kind of nice to see that, at least for one, having one person work to Rachel's benefit. And she's incredibly fit, stayed on there for a long time. And her time as a total ended up being her average.
Which is good because I was sitting there going and I was like, man, that's like so unfair. Like some people are falling instantly. Some people are falling within 2 minutes, and she's going to have to compete against their seventh person. Like that's crazy. She already beat 6 people on that team. Here's what's crazy. Okay. If you're Era 4, we'll just use an example because a bunch of them fell off right away. I go, okay, we have 2 pegs for everybody. Here's what we're going to do. Theo, you get 1. Olivia, you get 1. You're going to hold on with your hands, and as soon as you fall, you fall. But we're going to give Casey and Kylan 3, so they have 2 foot placements and a hand. Like, just sacrifice yourself. So you only need one person to win. If Casey would have had a 3rd or a 4th, I think that she would have done a lot better. Simple as that.
Like, how did they decide this foothold placement if they did it all? Was it first come, first serve? It just seemed no thought went into it. And you got people like Devin and Kylan and Bananas. You guys should be able to figure this out.
I would have sat there and I would have been like, okay, who of my females is the strongest? Okay, let me get them more. Like guys, I would have been like, guys, I'm not going to give you a lot. Like, if you're a big guy, like Theo, there's no way Theo's feet could stay on that peg. You don't get one
Facts.
for your feet, dude. You're just going to drop anyways. Try and show us your upper body strength. Like, it's just, yeah.
You know, I wasn't surprised by Rachel holding on for so long, but I
Nope.
thought Nehemiah really blew people away by how long he held on and how cool and calm he was during that whole time. It was excellent to see. I love it when Nehemiah reminds everybody he's still a champ. I mean, despite winning the way he did, he's still a freaking champ.
It's not his fault that the
It's
veterans
not his fault.
decided not to throw in Big Easy in any elimination. They
It's
were
not
too
his fault.
scared. They were scared players. Simple as that. Here's the thing. Nehemiah consistently does things, and everybody kind of has your reaction. It's like, man, good, go Nehemiah, good job. And it's like, we've got to stop thinking that he's incapable of doing these things.
He's
Like
not.
we're looking at him the same way we would look at like Brandon or like
Mm,
Ryan, which is no disrespect. It's just like they can do lots of things, but they never stand out as like the best at something. And then when Nehemiah does, we're just like, oh, like All Stars 2, he ran that game politically. First time he ever played a political game and ran that game. Pretty
yeah.
much everybody in the final was people he was working with. So it was just like, we need to start giving Nehemiah his flowers more. And I think he's getting better at these things as he kind of gets older. Because we got to remember, when he was on like the real world, he was like 19. He was super young when he was in the real world. So even when he gets on to like these other challenges, he's 22, 23. So like, even though he's era 2, he's probably like 36, 37. Like, he's probably not that old compared to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, compared to some of these other dinosaurs on here.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, but no, no, no. I agree with you 100%. Give Nehemiah a bit more respect. He's earned it and deserves it.
Did anything surprise you though? Because from the final people, obviously Rachel, Casey, Nehemiah, Devin. Did anybody surprise you that they were the last person or that they didn't make it that far?
Well, yeah, Aviv. It was nice. It's nice to see Aviv come back. And going in, I was thinking, I was just like, oh, you know what? This is probably something Aviv will probably be pretty decent at. And to see
Agreed.
her get dropped immediately was pretty disappointing. Also, Jordan, even though he has one hand, I know how athletic
Come
he
on.
is,
What is he supposed
but
to do?
but
What is he
sometimes
supposed to grab?
sometimes it's still really nice to see him go out there and just kind of kick ass despite all of that. I know he's super overcompensates and he's too combative and stuff sometimes, but
Mhm.
sometimes it's just nice to watch him do his thing.
Yeah.
Oh, those dogs are going crazy.
They're disagreeing. They're disagreeing with you, apparently. You've been raising your dogs not to like Jordan.
No, I got two girl dogs and and the little dog doesn't like the big dog. Big
Oh,
dog
cool,
just
cool.
completely ignores the little one. And the little one just goes fucking crazy. Okay, let me go separate them.
Respect me. Respect me.
So, moving on. Before we head to club night, all right. So, Rachel gets the win. Apparently, she held on for 14 minutes.
Crushed it.
This is the kind of misdirection that I really don't appreciate. Because the last time we seen her hanging on, the last time set we got was about 5 minutes.
It's almost like they want us to not know who wins until TJ says it. But wouldn't it be better just to show us the true time and then TJ comes back and goes, Rachel, way to kick we already know she won. Let's just tell us that. Like that's what you should do instead of like
Exactly.
TJ being like, Rachel, unfortunately, you're gonna be safe this week. Like, okay, we get it. That's a cool old trope. Let's move on
We
from it.
don't need it. Yeah, we can move on from it. Before so, every three is going in. It's going to be Tori and Devin, Dave 1 and Dave 2. Colin and Casey is going to be put up, and so is Laura and Ryan. Now, before we head into club night, we get a nice little tidbit of information I did not know because Josh has blocked me since the second episode he's been on the challenge. So Rachel and Josh are friends back home. Where's Josh live? Does he live in Miami?
He must.
He
She's his
looks.
trainer.
I mean,
Yeah, Miami fits him. Miami
yeah,
fits him big
it
time.
really does. It really does. And so the underlying theme is Josh is going to need to go to bat for Casey. And how the season went, I don't know why anybody would have any faith in that at all. Like, you guys know Josh. You guys,
Why is it his responsibility to help your game be better?
because I don't know. I
Why
don't know.
didn't why didn't like Theo and Jenny go, hey, if you guys want to work with Rachel, go talk to her before the challenge. That's what we did. And we worked with them. Go do that. Go do that. I can't believe that right there, right after they got back in the house after the first elimination, that block one didn't have Laurel, Tori, or Casey going up to Rachel going, hey, I don't want to go against you. I got your back. Like, just say that. Just say it. And then you can backstab her later. But on the off chance she wins, you've got that back. Like you said it before you were in danger.
I was surprised nobody picked up Era 1 to be their buddies going there. I thought Era 2 would be perfect. Hey, you guys are getting kind of dragged right now. Why don't you guys team up with us? Eras 3 and 4 are kind of working together because the vacation alliance is weaved in between both of them. Why don't you just come on outside, play with us?
I'll tell you this. If it would have been Kara or Aviv instead of Laurel, I think they would have approached Rachel and they would have said that. Because Aviv just wants people to play the game with. And she's from season 12. She's from close enough era, even though she never did another challenge. I'm sure her and Darrell's connection and then Darrell and Rachel's connection probably makes them buddies by associates. And then Kara's all about wanting the strongest people here. Well, Rachel's right there. We already talked about this. Rachel is in that conversation for top 5 Mount Rushmore. She's in the GOAT conversation with women. So Kara absolutely would have taken her, but Laurel is I don't want to
She
sound
doesn't want the
negative.
strongest people in the final with her.
She's intimidated by stronger women. And that's the big thing. And so I kind of found out a little tidbit. I don't know who said this. I don't know where I heard it, but the big reason why Laurel came after Emily stronger than she did Kara was because Emily was Banana's number 1 and Laurel wanted that position. And so by taking her out, she moves up. It's kind of like the West to Leroy on the Zach thing on X's 2, where he's like, I already have a number 1, but if you want that number 1, my number 1 has to be gone. And Wes is like, I didn't send Zach in. I just gave Leroy the gun and told him how to use it. And then he did. Like, yeah. So that's the whole like Laurel Emily thing. Wasn't that she was a strong competitor necessarily, but it was because she was in an alliance spot that Laurel wanted to be in.
And as great as Laurel is, politics is never her strong suit. In fact, she's been so anti-politics, and it's worked for her for a certain degree. But she's going to have a lot less places to reach out to because now that as individual, I mean, it's going to be easier to take a shot at her.
It's just because she's so good at the game. But Laurel's trajectory it looked like it was going to align with CT's. But like CT's so good at everything, he doesn't have to politic. Like who's going to go in against CT? They're scared against him.
Exactly.
But then CT gets older and he's like, maybe I should start talking to people and let her lay low and not be as, and then all of a sudden CT just goes win, like out of nowhere, like 3 out of 4 seasons. And it's like, okay, all right, fair enough. Like
just CT comes off as a big oaf sometimes. And that is just one of the greatest, just changing up their game to become a multi-time champ. I'm really interested to see how Jordan will do that once he gets a little bit older. But Jordan's still
Go ahead.
Jordan is still wiping the floor with people regularly, so
yeah,
he doesn't need to.
I don't know what it'd be like for people that are like new to the challenge, like fandom, that are just like getting into the challenge, because like maybe they're Big Brother fans or Survivor fans, and now they're crossed over type thing, and it's like their perception of CT is different. Like their perception of Bananas is don't worry, that's the exact same. He's been that way forever, but like CT was the scariest human being on the challenge forever. Like scarier than people that have beaten up other people, scarier than people that are bigger and tougher than other people, scarier than people that are collegiate athletes. He is the scariest guy just to be around.
And on top of that, massive. He's always been a massive guy. He's always has that size to him. And not only in that and smash his head and eat his stuff. Oh man, new fans, man, you guys just gotta go back to watch. I do it every year. Every year I'll run through pretty much all of the seasons of the challenge, and at some point run it back to the beginning.
Fun fact about that fight with Adam. I don't know where I learned this. I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but Adam actually threw something at CT first.
Yeah. He threw like a beer can or something at his
At
head
the
or
back of
whatever.
his head, yeah,
Yep.
and that's all since CT was like, "All right, that's it." Yeah, if you think CT is cool, calm, and collective, go watch. I mean, you can't watch it, but if you can find a clip of the duel too, there's four grown men holding back CT, and he's still moving forward. Four. And this is why the whole trope of like people like, oh, Landon would smoke CT and no. Have you seen Landon try and hold CT back? Like, and there were some big dudes holding him. Big Easy was one of the guys holding him back. Like,
Yeah. Oh man, it was
but
fucking the wild wild west back then.
but
Moving
let's
on
move
though,
on.
we had the club night, and club night usually this is where Anissa embarrasses herself when she tried to politic. But Casey decides to take this upon her own, and she approached Rachel. First off, I'm pretty sure Casey has not said a single fucking word to Rachel throughout this whole damn season. And so she finally goes up. She's like, "Yeah, you know, you're close with Josh, and I'm close with Josh. This puts us into kind of an unspoken alliance." I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about?" And Rachel just clocked that shit. I thought that Casey's approach to trying to politic this was the absolute worst. I thought it was embarrassing for her just to watch her do this. If this was Anissa, this is just par for the course.
All
She
right,
does
all
this
right.
every season at some point.
I'm gonna have to
But
stop you
Casey, you
for a
should know
second.
better.
I'm gonna defend Anissa here, okay? Anissa's biggest thing, her ability in this game, is that she doesn't get a lot of these deals successfully done, but she always tries.
Yeah,
Versus people that are like, no, well, whatever, they're just gonna throw me in and throw me in. Like she is always like, all right, that's it. I'm going in. I'm gonna talk to you about this. Let's have a conversation. So she's always pushing the agenda, which is a positive thing, right? It's kind of like in the NFL. Like if you don't got a quarterback, go get a quarterback. You can't just be
yeah.
progressive and just sit on your toes, you know? With Casey, in my mind, I know a lot of people don't like Casey because she's boring, is what the term they use for her.
I don't hate Casey. It's
I'm just
just
saying there's a
outside of being
consensus out
good,
there.
there's people who's more entertaining than her, sure. But she's
Yes,
good.
but I think that socially she is a fantastic player, which is what made this so surprising because
Very.
it just seemed odd. And I think there's always two approaches to go into a season. You either um play with your friends and just that's I want my friends to go far, if you're not my friend, whatever. Or you play the I want all the strong people at the end. And that's a pro and a con because your win condition's lower in that situation. But in situations like this, it shows people like Rachel, like, hey, I want to go to a final against you, Rachel. I'm an era four, I'm a champion. You're era one champion. I want to see if I can compete against the best. I don't want to go home. Like that's the approach it should be. It should be
Yeah,
like I'm gonna keep you here as long as possible because I want to go against you in a final to see if I can take down a great. Like that's how it should be. I'm never gonna send you in.
there's a million different ways she could have played it besides trying to weasel in. Well, we actually have an unspoken alliance. Like, what? It's just no political awareness whatsoever for somebody
I
who's
think it's a
played this
big
game for
brother.
as many seasons.
It's a big brother thing. I think
Is it?
I think weaseling your way in is a big brother thing. I've never watched Big Brother, but it just seems like it because it's the way Josh plays. It's the way Fessy
Mm.
kind of talks. Like, I mean, we Kylan kind of does it every now and then too. And I also heard that Kylan really loves himself on TV. Like Kylan loves to see himself on TV is what
Oh, yeah.
I got told by people.
You know what? For all of his nice little nerdy quirks and stuff or whatever, you can say you're kind of a fame whore, and that's
I don't
okay.
I don't think it's a front. I think he is actually a nice person, but I think
Right.
it's also that he does like being on camera.
It's okay. You're a reality TV star.
Yeah, yeah.
That is a okay trait to have when
Right.
you're dealing with that.
Right.
Okay, so moving on to deliberation. Devin and Tori are going in, and wisely, they're not going to call no one out because, pretty much these people are, all their friends to some degree or whatever, but we know which way they would prefer it to go. But
Right.
somebody's going to get knocked out. It's going to come down between Laurel and Ryan and Casey and Kylan. I did not love how they pitched this deliberation. I don't think anybody really pitched it really well. Ryan pitches friendship, which is most likely, I mean,
That's
that's what you
fair.
have,
That's the
which
most,
is
yeah.
fair. Now is the time to lean on it. which is the way we always thought it was going to go. Casey pitches that, she was never targeted, and, Era 4 were dominant. We can help you out in the long run, which also I think would have been a better approach to her going forward. Hey, after this, you're going to be on an island by yourself. We'll fold you into Era 4,
Yeah,
and you'll be safe.
Air Force won 3 of the 7 dailies. So
Exactly. So
yeah.
not a bad pitch, but God, you could have used that pitch at the club last night.
Ryan also did say that if we won today, you were never going in. Like it wasn't just friend. It was like if we won, we were never sending you in.
Let me
So
ask you a
that's
question.
the other pitch.
If you're in Rachel's position, how much credibility do you give Colin in a situation like that? I mean, judging by who he is, what we see from TV, and how he plays, do you think that that's something he can even promise?
I mean, you would have to hope that at that point, it's literally that's what it is. It's a hope. It's I think maybe it can. I'm hoping that you will be able to deliver, but there's no like guaranteed no. Especially because like what I would have done if I was Rachel, I would have been like, give me a number right now. Like list the females you're looking out for. Let me know exactly where I'm at. That's what I would have done. Like, where do I stand? Because I know Casey's on your side. I know Tori's on your side. I know Michelle's on your side. Is Olivia also on your side? Then would I be 5? Okay, well, only 4 make it to the final, so now I'm out. Like, I would have play your cards. Am I in your top 3? And if I'm not, you're going in. And at that point, he has to right now sever ties in front of other people, or he has to fold to you and go into elimination.
And it's funny because that's some of the grief they was giving Josh. Oh, you're too cool with too many people. You got to draw a line in the sand. Would you be willing to do the same? I like Colin, and I liked what he was saying. And the whole time in my back of head, I'm thinking like, he's saying that, but he can't really back that up. Right. Because you're not even the main power holder on your team.
No, he's not. That.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I do think he's in a good position, but you're not the main man. So
everybody be mad at Josh too is crazy because it's like Josh has all these connections and everybody wants him to use his connections to help them. But in doing so, it would hurt his other connections. And it's like, realistically, like Josh's mistreatment of this episode was so wild. I understand what they were kind of saying of like, you should have our back. And he does. But he also has Rachel's back. And what is he supposed to do? Like Michelle's thing of saying, if you put them in, I'm cutting ties with you. So he has to potentially, so if let's say he does that. Let's say I'm cutting ties with you if you put them in. And Rachel goes, I'm still putting him in. So now he loses Rachel. And let's say both Kylan and Casey go home. Now he loses them too. He just lost 3 people in one go.
100%. And 2, this is Rachel. This isn't some sorority girl. This isn't somebody who's on a second year of the challenge. This is a
mom.
champ.
This is a mom.
And the mom. Her mind is already made up. And I think Josh sensed that. Hey, I want to talk to you. He's going to try to save. Rachel was like, I'm surprised he didn't try to do more. But she probably doesn't realize, it's just like, he can tell that your mind is already made up. There's nothing he could say besides, don't vote him in, and there's going to be a gold brick underneath your pillow. Like, outside of that, he knew that he could say nothing that was going to change her mind. And threatening her wouldn't have helped in any way, shape, or form.
No. There's a double-edged sword, though. Banana said this to Zach on X's too. And Devin was kind of hinting at it, but he didn't want to probably say the same phrase as
Bananas. Exactly where you're going.
But it was, if you're in alliance with everyone, you're in alliance with no one. And that is a truth there. However, that's where I got kind of upset when Josh was like, why do I always have to choose? And it's like, well, it's
a challenge.
You have to choose because otherwise you're putting everybody in tier 2 and people want to be in tier 1 with you. It's simple as that's why people want you to choose. But I don't think I honestly, Ryan had the best approach. Yeah. We're friends. We were never going to send you in.
100%.
Simple.
And I like the fact that Laurel didn't grovel too much, but she threw the vacation lines right up under the bunch. Listen, there's a bunch of people over there that need to be got. Let's put our focus to there. So I didn't like that all of that came down on Josh, and Ryan did play the perfect game, and Laurel did good by doing little.
I have nobody. Yeah. So you could be my somebody. She could have shot herself
in the foot and actually humbling and be like, listen, I don't got nobody, and me and you, we could rock it out. I think, man, Ryan and Laurel really won that deliberation, hands
Mhm.
down, hands
Yeah.
down. So
I didn't,
Rachel, being as
I didn't,
honorable as she is, and let me tell you how do you feel about this? Granted, none of these people are her enemy, but they're not
right.
really her friends either. She goes and she breaks the news to Colin and Casey and lets them know, which is a move I respect. Hey, you're going in, be prepared. I think of it like this. Growing up, when you were leaving a job, you always gave a 2-week notice. And that doesn't really fly these days. Like, even I, who really, really believed in that, I don't even leave 2 years notice unless I'm like really, really cool with one of my bosses or whatever, and I don't want to see him jammed up. Then I'll leave it and if it's really good terms and I know they're not going to screw me in the last 2 weeks I'm here, sure, I'll leave a 2 week
Yeah.
notice. But
Yeah.
s- letting somebody know that you're going to put them in elimination, how do you feel about that? I don't think it's necessary to keep doing.
I mean, so the only reason you do it is if you want the person you're putting in to come back not as mad at you and to maybe say like, hey, I have to put somebody in. It's gonna be you. Um, I can't put in Ryan, and I'm hoping that you can win and we can come back and never have to be in this situation again. Like my hands were forced. If you weren't a target, you wouldn't be going in, but like it's the way the cards played. And and this is first of all, this is the Vacation Alliance's own fault. They all nominated
Yeah,
themselves going, we're all going to be safe because we have a 50% chance to win.
they
They
encounter
did this to
Rachel.
themselves. Yeah. And so I mean, I would never tell anybody. I would never tell
Never,
anybody. I
never.
would be like, have you made a decision? No. When are you gonna make a decision? When I see the game. That's what I would say. When I get
Mm.
down there, I'm gonna wait till I see the game. Because maybe I'll
Oh,
go in. Who knows? Maybe I want to go in. Like, and I would just wait because there's no reason to help somebody else out because
and
they're
it
probably not
also
going to come back and help you out.
and it also puts you in a box. What if you see a game? What if you got to make a game time decision? Now you got to go
Mm-hmm.
back on your word. You know how hard it is to get that stink of breaking your word off in the challenge house.
No, it does. It stays with you forever. People
It's
don't forget.
They
Yeah.
don't at all. They'll bring it up 10 years later.
So let's get to the elimination because I think somebody didn't try.
You think you didn't try it all?
I don't. He tried it all.
All right, the daily is going to be Cable Connection Showdown. Basically, it's kind of like Lights Out, only you gotta, you know, disconnect a whole bunch of cables and then plug them in. Um, Surprisingly, I didn't hate this elimination. And these are the kind of eliminations I tend to like really really hate. But I thought it was pretty good though. It's quirky, but it requires some thought power. You gotta do a little bit of running, some problem solving. I was okay with it. It's better than watching math. Nothing is worse than I don't know why they do that, man. There's nothing worse than watching math. Doing Only thing worse than watching math is doing math.
Just
Nobody,
like
no one wants.
do like a slider puzzle or something instead.
Yeah,
Something
just
you can see panic, creep up or anything.
exactly. Nobody want to watch people draw multiplication tables into the sand. So I actually really, really like this one a lot more than I thought.
Yeah, yeah. So here's the thing. Devin runs past the first one to the second one. I, why? I don't know. Because you still have to come back this way either way. Like you're already making more run, so you're already taking longer. And then he's like really trying to go at this slow. And even though people are yelling to pick it up, even though people are saying to go fast, and he's still going slow and methodical. And I don't know if either A, he hit a bump and he couldn't, he hit like a fork in the road and he took a wrong turn. And he just was like, I'm already screwed. There's no way I can. Let's just kind of look like I'm working. I messed up. Or did he want to help Michelle's game by going home to putting less of a target on her, keeping Kyland around to help protect her and not as direct as him? And maybe he didn't like the way his game was going of breaking all these rules that he has in the challenge of never doing. And maybe he just didn't want to be in the house and deal with the drama of Bananas kind of saying that his relationship was fake and everything. Maybe it was overwhelming for him and he was like, you know what? I just want to get out of this place. I'm going to prove that this relationship's real, which it is to this day. They're still dating to this day. And so it makes me wonder if he just didn't, I don't know, because he was even okay with like TJ dogging on him. Like he was joking as well. Like
Yeah, I don't know because
he could just be
I
humbled
guess that
and
would make
losing.
sense. Him going home. I mean, how does him going home help Michelle? Wouldn't him being there help Michelle? He carries more sway than anybody else in that team.
No, because then it's somebody that she's always worrying about. She's always taking away from her game to make sure his game is
She's
good.
always going to be worried. She's a
But I'm just
worried
saying,
person.
it is a real thing. Like when you go in there and it's like, I'm just worried about me. Like that's 100%. But it's like, I'm worried about me and them. That's 50%. You're always
Listen,
making moves to help another person. It's difficult.
they're both on the young side. Michelle is doing great on the challenge as a cast member, and Devin's a new champ. You're going to run into this problem again next season, and the season after that, and the season after that.
Right. But I think all the bananas allegations of like saying that he's just using her and it's not real, like,
Fucking bananas. Who believes him?
but it could have
Who's
got under
taking
his
him
skin.
seriously?
But it could have got under his skin. It really could have, and it could have just taken a toll on him. And maybe he just saw, and he's like, I just don't want to be in this situation. I just want to step out because he was like, I'll be on a beach in Vietnam waiting for you, whatever he said. Like,
So maybe he just mentally checked out and just wanted the vacation.
I don't know. Maybe it's so odd. I
It's
don't
odd
know.
that Colin dusted him so bad.
Like so, especially when like the women were so close. Like so, it
Exactly.
showed that it wasn't just like three people understood what to do really quick, but Devin, who's one of the smartest players this game has seen in the last 10 seasons,
Yeah, it doesn't really pass
couldn't
the smell test.
couldn't figure it out, and he goes, "Oh, I don't do this stuff anymore." Like that's bull. Like that's bull. I
It
don't
is
know.
bull. I was glad, and when we get to Tori and Casey, this game is a lot closer. It's a lot closer, and I think that it's supposed to be. I mean, you're thinking nobody has a huge advantage when it comes to
Nobody.
unraveling cables. You guys are going to figure it out around the same time. The real problem solving is going to come to making sure the right cables are plugged into the right spots. That one was much closer, a big nail biter, and that one really could have went anyway. I think that one really came down to the buzzer.
Yeah.
But Tori, and I actually thought Casey won that at first, but Tori was able to eke out a win. So good for her. Casey goes home. And people were really happy because people felt like Casey didn't bring a whole lot, to this challenge. She didn't. I think, man, this season really missed Nani. Nani being here would have been such a great addition.
A great addition to, and she would have been
And
in era 3. It would have been
and it joins,
perfect.
yeah, and it joins those two eras together. Such a huge miss. Such a huge miss. And she's tight with Leroy. Nani really should have been here. What is she doing? What is she doing?
Taking
Polishing
some
her
time off.
veneers?
She's taking time off. Okay, she got second place 2 seasons ago. She's just relaxing.
So close. Nani is, I think, not both Nani and Leroy has kind of moved into that realm of they're just private. I mean, at this point, I don't really think they're gonna be able to knock one of these out.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Nani's more likely to win a final than Leroy. Like, I don't think I think we underestimate Nani a lot. Nani literally was like minutes away from beating Laurel on free agents. Like
Yeah,
it,
free agents was a
and
long
she
time
also
ago.
okay. She also got second on 38. Like she also
Bananas
she
was a
also
partner,
she also got fourth on 37. Like and
but
only went home because she got eliminated by Casey.
Nani is
Like
good. I think where Nani messes up she's at the point in her challenge career where she doesn't really. I don't think she's really gonna have the allies. Well, I don't know. With Casey, she might be able to go far. I don't know. You got to be here if you're gonna win one. So Tori gets the win. Colin gets the win. TJ switches everything up and it goes individual. They still have to pick targets.
problem here. I am upset with this. Why are they starting a new game and Kylan and Tori are 100% immune from going into elimination? It doesn't make sense. You changed what happened. You changed. They didn't assign targets after episode 2 from those people winning elimination. Like they had to go into the daily at the third episode, and then they selected themselves as like targets. They did that. They changed the game. Everybody was available. They changed the game here. Kylan and Tori get have passed the top 16. It's kind of weird.
Do you think Kylan and Tori should have been made targets?
No, I think what they should have done is this round should have just been like nobody's targets, and whoever wins, or no, and they literally just do like last place team goes in, and then the next two worst finishers are targets, and then you go back to selecting targets. Because why, if with this whole time also we've been doing, if you're a target, you're not a target the next week. So
Right.
Rachel gets to be a target back to back. Ryan has to be a target back to back. That's not fair. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like it doesn't make sense.
It does it, and it does seem like an oversight. But with these targets, there was a couple of surprises. Tori had to pick three males, Derek, Ryan, and Bananas. Bananas was a surprise, and Colin had to pick three women. Jenny was a surprise. Fair or foul? What do you think? What do you think was behind them choosing people who probably would have been somewhat their allies, or at least in the same era?
I don't think Jenny's surprised at all to me.
No, she would catch a stray for no reason.
She's working with, but Jenny's not a social player. Like she's not. Like Bananas and her work together because Bananas sees her as a strong individual player. That's why Bananas works with her, not because
It,
they like are best friends.
it's crazy because she does seem well liked and popular in the house. Like people like her. Why is she not turning that
She doesn't
into
talk game. She doesn't talk game. That's the big
Bananas is a
problem.
guy? Go sit down with him and talk to him. For some reason, Bananas is still able to get people to do what he wants.
For as much as here's the thing, for as much as like people like disliked D, we'll bring up D's name. She learned from Wes and then
Mm.
changed her game. And
She
we
was a great
see
student too.
she actually played really well going forward until she got screwed over by Rogan on 35. But yeah, I mean, I just think she doesn't talk game. Now, Tori picking Bananas, it's you know what it feels like? It feels like Sarah sending Bananas into elimination. Like Bananas thinks that they're like these great friends, and I think it's just that they have this like common respect for each other as competitors, and they do work together because they end up on the winning side more often than not. So they end up working together, but it doesn't mean that you're directly in an alliance with somebody. And for Tori, she has Kyland, she has Jordan,
Jordan.
she has Naya, she has Michelle, she has Josh. That's five. Like Bananas would be six at that point. And she probably has a better relationship with Corey at this point because he's from her era. And like she can say, we're not going to target each other. I don't know.
I really hope, and what I'm banking on, I'm thinking Corey can do really, really well if he performs well. Because you seen him, he was the star of last episode. We barely seen him this episode. I really hope he's able to take advantage of it because I hate seeing him in these tight situations seasons after seasons from just not, I don't know, maybe just not having a game strategy. I don't know. It just pisses me off. I heard we got power rankings.
We got power rankings, only a top five. We
Okay.
still have 18 people, but I got top five. And it is a reflection on this episode, a little bit last episode. Not too much, but a little bit. And it's just kind of to give us a starting point. Okay. So clocking in at number five is Nehemiah. Very steady game. Was able to kind of get selected. Tori selected all Era 2 people, and his name wasn't said.
Mm.
Interesting, right? Which means that his relationship with Corey, which Tori wanted to protect Era 3, is paying off. And his relationship with Naya is paying off. So he's more connected than people are giving credit for. And he also performed really well in the daily.
Very
Uh,
well.
Number four is Laurel. We have to just, call a spade a spade. She's performing very well in dailies constantly. She had an opportunity here for Laurel to send her, or for Rachel to send her in, and she didn't. Rachel could have sent her in and been like, Tori or Laurel, go home. That was there. And she didn't send her in. And this is like the second time Laurel's been up to get eliminated and sent in and hasn't been sent in. So something is working.
I, I mean, in my opinion, it would be her proximity to Ryan on this particular elimination.
Sure, sure. But if we're saying like who could offer something, Ryan really can't offer anything in an individual game that Kylan
No.
can't. And she still went with it and everything. So I mean, yes, by proxy, but still, she's been performing very well, and she's still a dangerous threat to win this game. Number three is Jordan. This is more so of just he is still in the game, and we're past the halfway point. And he's one of those guys that like he's like CT, he's like Bananas, he's like Wes. He's one of those guys that they're like, gotta get him out early when you can. And when he sneaks past the midway point, it's kind of dangerous for everybody else.
I don't know how people keep letting them do it.
He's
Keep
officially
letting
going to
them do
be
it.
he's officially going to finish in the top 8 for men right now by not going. He's not a target, and so by that proxy, like he just got to beat out 4 guys, and Josh is still there. Ryan, Derek are still there. Like
20 men came into this game, and they didn't immediately say, "Get this motherfucker out as
they
soon as
thought about
possible
it.
by any means." I don't get it.
Yeah, and then so number two is Kylan. I mean, Kylan is coming off of two eliminations against champions this season. He took down two last season as well. He took down Brad and Darrell last season. And then this season, Darrell and Devin now. So in his five eliminations, he's taken out four former champions. On top of that, he's in a really power position right now. He's got a lot of people he's working with. He's able to kind of establish relationships, and I think that he is just in a really good spot overall. And then number one is Rachel. I think we have to start out by putting Rachel there. She came in as an individual, and was able to still get six questions right on that math part, still beat everybody by what seemed like 6 minutes. It seemed like the closest was like 8 minutes, and just dominate. And then on top of that, she made a really wise decision that sent two people that were not going to work with her home. Somebody, and not only two people, but two people that are good in finals as well. Devin and Casey. Like, Casey's fantastic in finals.
Yeah.
She's really just ran into like who her partner's been, and that's held her down. Like she like or getting hurt. And so I think, yeah, Rachel comfortable at number one for me.
What do you think is going to be Rachel's biggest obstacle for staying number one?
Well, she's got to, I mean, not come in last and get sent into elimination next week. That's the first thing. That is the one thing. She's the only person on this list that is a target. So the other four could be here next week, guaranteed. But Rachel is going to have to perform again. Here's the thing, though. I think Rachel has always been held back by her alliances and by her teams and by her friends. I think like if we go back and look in the time, because she's always making sure that Tina's protected and Veronica's protected, and that Derek's good and Darrell's good. She's always worried about these people, that it hinders her game. And we see that when it's just her, she's good to go.
And her next two, her biggest friends that she's aligned with are both playing as lone wolves also. You got Ryan. I mean, he's cool with a whole lot of girls, but nobody's really going to go to bat for him like that. And got
Derek.
And Derek, too. So, and it's funny because outside of Laurel, the rest of her alliance is a bunch of underdogs, too. But Derek can surprise you very much. And Ryan hasn't seen the success that he thinks he deserves, but overall, he's pretty solid. But, we just don't expect much from him. So if we do able to see something from him, it can only be a plus.
Here's the thing. I think Rachel also has Kara on her side. Yes. I think that's pretty simple. And I don't think somebody like Naya would want to go against Rachel either. Like, I think Naya she's such an interesting challenger now, because I feel like she has so much respect for older players that she doesn't want to disrespect them. And it's kind of nice to see. Like, you know what I mean? It's like if you were playing a sport against like your idol who is like about to retire, you'd want to do it in the most respectful way,
100%.
And so that's how she is. So I think that she might have Naya working with her too. She's going to have Kara. And I think, especially when we talk about like having strong players in, who likes keeping strong women in the game? Bananas and Jordan and Corey and Nehemiah, like, plus Derek and Ryan. I think Rachel's more protected than we're letting seem. Yeah. I don't think she knows how protected she is. Really, right now, here's the thing. If I'm Aviv or Jenny, I'm terrified that I'd have to go against Rachel in the elimination. Like, I know Jenny's strong, but
Aviv's number is going to get punched soon. Real soon.
If I'm these people, why are you keeping Aviv around? Aviv is, every episode, they show her running on a treadmill. Every episode. She is going to be a threat in a final. Like, 100%. I think she's in great shape, and I think that she could outrun a lot of these men that are just pumping iron all day.
You know what? Aviv, what's going to happen with Aviv is somebody's just going to just say, like, hey, we got our people over there. We want to keep them safe. Just throw in Aviv. And then if Aviv survives, getting voted in once her name is said, people are just going to keep saying her name until she's out. It's a wrap on Aviv. And that's Aviv's fault, because Aviv should have built some relationships while she was there to keep that from happening.
Yeah. So what do you think of my top five? Do you think those are...
I think your top five is pretty solid, especially because I also had Laura at number 4, and I had Rachel at number 1, which made sense, and Jordan at 3. I can't really remember 2 or 5 that much, but it does sound like it makes sense, and I'm glad you see Rachel's and Aviv's gameplay is probably going to go exactly how we see. Rachel is going to thrive, and Aviv's days are numbered.
Yeah, well, I think they should. I mean, they should be. If I'm in that house, I mean, I'd be wanting to get Aviv out because I like in a final, I'm not worried about Olivia. I'm not worried about Michelle.
Nope.
I'm not worried about Naya. Like if I'm on the female side, like I think that they all have things that they are good at, but they're not like Rachel, Cara, Laurel. Those are and Tori. You know, Tori, even Tori.
Tori too.
I would probably take Tori to a final, to be honest, because I don't think she's as well rounded. I think she is up here, but
Yes.
I still think she struggles at some aspects. Like she can't eat. She really can't eat.
Right.
That's a
And she's beatable. She's beatable in the final,
she is.
which
But
is
I
also
think
probably Cara's biggest one of her biggest criticisms is as good as she is, she's beatable in the final. We've seen it.
yeah, well, but also she can beat people in a
Oh
final.
yeah,
That's
no,
another thing too. Like
no, she's
yeah,
legit.
it's more so like going against Cara in a final. Like she's gonna push you. Like she's never gonna quit in a final. She's never gonna stop. She's gonna keep going. And that's the reason why we saw her make 4 consecutive finals. You know, she literally has a streak for most consecutive episodes of the challenge without being eliminated. You know, most consecutive most no, I guess Darrell also has 4 straight seasons of finals as well. But
Yeah,
they were
yeah,
playing they're playing
we know the
hopscotch and patty
difference.
cake
Look
back
at
then.
you
It's different.
standing up. Look at you standing up for Miss Cara Maria. We love to see it.
I
Also,
my biggest thing is I give the flowers to everybody that deserves them. Simple as that. It doesn't matter
100%.
if you're a heel or a face. I give you those.
Wrestling terms. Speaking of which, before we get out of here, did you hear about Liam Payne?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Wild
Crazy.
business.
Yeah.
Wild business. I mean, I was a little bit too old for when One Direction stuff came out, but my daughter was a huge fan.
Yeah.
So,
It's pretty crazy. Yeah,
yes.
and he even had some success. I'm yeah, and then they kind of showed it on MTV talking about it and everything. I heard about it just before we started watching the episode.
You know,
But
I didn't hear about it on MTV because I was watching the Canada stream. So
oh,
they didn't say anything in Canada about it. But I found out like during the episode. So
yeah.
I know a lot of stuff is coming out. Maybe he wasn't such a great guy or whatever. I'm not about to get into all of that, but you're going to say rest in peace to all those affected.
Yeah. Yep, simple as that.
All right. These dogs are letting me know that it's time for me to go and play with them. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Thank you guys all for watching. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at LWC Podcast. Follow us on Facebook and TikTok at Love War Challenges. Listen to Love War Challenges Podcast on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app. Once again, I am MTV Malik. He is Tyler Louder. This is Love War Challenges. Good night. Oh, if y'all
Bye.
don't shut the fuck up. Oh my God.
They're trying to just help out with the outro.